All right, all right. Good afternoon and welcome to Spike Kool-Aid for Tuesday, October 25th, 2022. And we're going to have a pretty good show today. I'm going to open my Red Bull as we get this thing started. Running a bit behind. We're supposed to be on at 2. Typically, I want to get these shows going on at 2. But I had a rough night last night and a rough start to the day. So it's all good. We are here anyway. But first of all, shout out to everybody that's going to watch this on playback. The channel is growing pretty good. We grew 7 subscribers yesterday, en route to 150. The goal is to be monetized by the draft. That would be fantastic if we could get there. But it's going pretty good, man. I'm telling you, I think I got this YouTube formula down. But anyway, want to say what's up to everyone. Hopefully everyone can hear me out there, and let's get this show started. All right, so I'm wondering, what's up, Darren? What's going on, man? I'm wondering if the Lions can make a run like they did in 2015. What's up, Lions Mania? What's up, Nick? So I saw a article from M Live today. We're going to talk about that a little later. But the NFC, right, is so wide open. Now, we got plenty of time to talk about the draft. And, Darren, I hear your concerns about the quarterback, man, and I actually agree with some of them. I really do. I'm looking at how Justin Fields can make an impact, a quarterback who can step out and get out of harm's way. If we can get a quarterback that throws, that's a good thrower as well, then that's a 1-2 punch. I watched some highlights, something about Patrick Mahomes and how they didn't think he was, they were going to be, that he was going to be as good as he was coming out of college. But the Kansas City Chiefs, I think the GM at the time was like, this guy's going to be the real deal. So I can see your I don't know what's going on with my voice today, but I can see your argument when it comes to a dual threat quarterback. And this might be the time that the Lions take one. We don't know. We and that's the thing, we don't know. But what I do know is that the season is still going on. And I've been thinking about this with every loss that passes. Can the Detroit Lions make a run? Can they make a run? It seems like we're almost there, unless it's the Patriots. Then we get blown out. We get a goose egg, right? But the other games, we were in. I mean, if you even look at the Cowboys game, this past Sunday, we were in that game. The game was even across the board, even after Jared Goff's fumbles. I mean, the only thing that really lost us that game was the turnovers. From Jamal Williams to Jared Goff and more Jared Goff and more Jared Goff and poor Jared Goff, because Jared Goff is going to be the sewer, the dumping ground of this city until we get somebody else to dump on. That's just how that's going to be. It was Matthew Stafford before him. It's him now, and it's going to be quarterback of the future when quarterback of the future gets here. I have never seen a more wishy-washy fan base, bro. I just haven't. But can the Detroit Lions go on a run? The Detroit Lions are 1-5. They got 11 games left, and the NFC is wide open. Now, I'm going to compare this team, although it's not the same team. This team that I'm going to compare it to is right after that 2014 team that we all know should have won a playoff game, but thank you, Dallas, right? Jim Caldwell started 1-7, okay? In 2015, and I remember this thing like it was yesterday. My son was 5 years old at the time, and he was sitting watching football with me, asking a bunch of questions. You know how kids right around kindergarten age do. They ask a ton of questions. And we had a much more talented roster, in my opinion, as far as when it came to defense, all right? But the Detroit Lions started the season 1-7, okay? We started listen to this. And this is why I have to live in the season, y'all. I have to live in the moment. I don't want to go too far ahead of the season. Because even like the news reporters, the guys that cover the team, they don't even want to go talk about the draft just yet, right? I mean, we still have 7 months before we hear our beloved draft jingle. And right now, we're trending first pick. But in 2015, the Detroit Lions started 1-7. Their first win came in week 6 against the Chicago Bears. And it wasn't just any win, gentlemen and ladies. It was an overtime 3-point win at Ford Field. They started the season. They lost to the Chargers. the Vikings, the Broncos, the Seattle Seahawks, and the Arizona Cardinals, with their first win coming in week 6 against the Chicago Bears. They then lose to the Minnesota Vikings, so they got swept by the Vikings, and they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs in a blowout loss in London. That was the last time the Lions went to London. Now, 1-7 heading into the bye. That's when the NFL used to be nice to us, and they used to give us mid-season byes. They regrouped, right? And if you look at Kyle, I think it's Kyle Minke. We're going to refer to his article today. He talks about he was there. He was in the locker room after that loss. And Jim Caldwell's job kept coming up, and the players wanted to play for this man. And what I like that they said, because listen, as much as y'all love Dan Campbell, Motor City Dan Campbell, MCDC, it does not matter if he doesn't win. No. Does he play the game? No. Does he make coaching mistakes? Yes. That was the only knock that I heard on Jim Caldwell was he's a bad game manager. Well, you ain't seen a bad game manager yet. But listen, Dan Campbell didn't make bad coaching decisions last game. It wasn't really on him. Matter of fact, I'm not going to put any of it on him. Not trying to score before the half ended, right? But at the end of the day, that man is going to pay the price for what happens on the field, right? They come out of the bye, and this is how they finish the season. The Green Bay Packers, they win in Lambeau. Squeak Fest by 2. They beat the Oakland Raiders. At home, they beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Then they lose to the Green Bay Packers and the St. Louis Rams at the time. They finished the season on a 3-game winning streak to go to 7-9 on the season. Right? So my thing is, can the Detroit Lions make a run to end the year? Some games we're almost there, and some games it looks like we don't get off the plane. And that's a really good question. Now, I'm not ready to say it's over just yet, because I don't want to do that. I'm sick of it. I talk about this team every day. I don't want to keep talking about the draft and the offseason and all that stuff. All right? The Detroit Lions, very similar to last year. They started off rough. They're looking at 1-6 right now, possibly 1-7. Although I think they can beat the Green Bay Packers. All right? At that point, in 2 games, the Detroit Lions could be just where they were, 1-7. And this is where it can change. It could. Maybe it can, maybe it can't. Chicago, the Giants, the Buffalo Bills, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Minnesota Vikings, the Jets, the Panthers, the Chicago Bears, and the Green Bay Packers on the road. Out of those games, they have the next 2 at home, or after the next 2. They've got the Bills, the Jaguars, and the Minnesota Vikings. The first time we've had 3 home games in a row in a very long time. MetLife Stadium, they play the New York Jets. They go play Carolina. Everyone says we can beat that team. However, that team just beat Tom Brady. But look what happened last night. Nobody picked the Bears to win that game. So my question is, could the Detroit Lions make a run very similar to 2015? Everybody thought that season was over. And then we wound up a respectable 7 wins, right? And let's be honest, 7 wins at this point is respectable. 100%. 7 wins is respectable. 100%. So do you guys think it's possible we can make a run very similar to 2015, I'm sorry. All right, Dern says, now we are ranked 32 in the power rankings. Well, Dern, it depends on which ones you look at. The only ones I pay attention to are the NFL. And the NFL, we are 31st. How about that? How far the apple has fallen from that tree, huh? Started in the 20s, got as high as 16, didn't move after our loss to the Vikings, and have plummeted ever since. And now we are number 32. And that's going to be rough. I'm actually going to make a video, going to add that in my Syndicate video later today. As a matter of fact, right after I get off here, I'm going to go directly into recording that video. What's up, Dave? Nick says, after the Jamal fumble, it felt like it was over. Lions Mania says, but you can blame Campbell for not challenging the spot or wherever or whatever on the goal line. See, I disagree, Lions Mania. I disagree. So let me ask you a question, right? Dan Campbell, Zane, or it was Zane, right? He wasn't in. Brock Wright, he wasn't in. He was short, okay? So if he challenges the spot and he gets it, you think the play call could have been different, right? So instead of the Jamal Williams handoff, it could have been maybe a quarterback sneak. How often do the Detroit Lions win games? Win games. How often do they do a quarterback sneak? It's like it's not even in our play calling. Me personally, I don't think that makes a difference. I really don't. Whether you're at the 1 or the half of 1, you got Jamal Williams in the backfield. What would have driven me crazy is if they did a rollout, a play action, or some type of rollout on the half-yard line. That would have frustrated me beyond belief. I saw it happen last night. On 3rd and 2, if you have any capable offensive line or a backfield, run the football, right? Nick says, weren't they all come from behind wins in 2015? They were, listen, they could have been. We had Stafford. That wasn't the year that Nick, when all those come from behind wins, we had a winning record that year. I think you might be thinking of maybe 2016 when Stafford, we had like 8 or 9 come from behind fourth quarter. It was ridiculous. And when we got to the playoffs, we got drubbed by even though they cheated with Bobby Wagner or Cam Chancellor knocking that pass out of the back of the end zone. So I think that was the following year, Nick. I'm not sure. Don't quote me. You right, the Lions don't win very often. Yeah, I am. But listen, they spotted us half a yard short. Jamal still fumbled. It don't matter. And you know what? I think, Nick, does the play calling really matter, bro? If you're at the 1 or the half a yard, does it really matter? Does it really matter? Now, if he was in Mania, then I could see, okay, the dude was in. You got to challenge that, right? The pylon cam shows it was in. Challenge it, touchdown. Now we're up. Now there's no fumble, right? There's no fumble. So for me, I'm not bothered by that. Zay says if our best 2 playmakers continue not to play confident, we can win games. Swift and Amon-Ra have been non-existent last 2 games. Well, hey, listen, Zay, Swift ain't played. He hasn't played since Minnesota. Swift has not played since Minnesota. He got hurt against Washington and then played, if I'm not mistaken, or he got hurt against Minnesota and played against Seattle. How can they blame all the turn over Dan Campbell? Well, David, Dan Campbell is going to be responsible for W's and L's. That's it. That's the bottom line. I saw a very frightening stat the other day that Marty Morningweg or something was doing better than him at this time, which is not company you want to keep. That is not company you want to keep at all. Well, I'll just put it like this, fellas. I think that the Detroit Lions can go on a run. I really do. And I'm not saying that as a Kool-Aid, not even a spike Kool-Aid. I think they can go on a run. The reason that I say that is because the NFL is almost, we keep talking about this every single week. And last night, to end week 7 was no different. No one thought that the Chicago Bears at 2-4 were going to go into Gillette Stadium, play against the greatest coach of all time with a rookie head coach and dominate from start to finish and eventually win by double digits. Nobody, if you played Super 6, you didn't pick that to happen. Nick says, what I didn't like was the ref was going to signal touchdown but was waiting for the other ref that couldn't see it. It's always something with this team. The defense steps up. The offense is non-existent. The offense is elite. The defense sucks. They can't put together full games. That's on coaching. Now, that, you know what? That's a good point. That is a good point. And let me see. All right, so somebody brought it up on the post-game show. It was my man, Elevated Sense. He said that we haven't seen this team with the full complement yet. And I agree. We haven't had our offensive line has not played a snap together. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. If DJ Chark is in, Jamison Williams is out. If we haven't seen Jamison Williams, Josh Pascal back, right? Do I think it's an excuse? No, but I think it's a valid point. The question is, will it be too late? Will it be too late? Steve-O says, you can't make this up. The Lions keep finding new ways to lose. Well, I don't know if we can find any more. I really don't know. But we haven't seen our team. And fellas, this is not an excuse at all. But what I'm saying is, it might be too late when we see our entire team, but we still haven't seen our entire team. Now, if you think this is bad now, I know a lot of us are heated. We're fuming. We're upset. You know why? Because while the NFC, the NFL is in spiral, out of control mode, it's like a barn fire. Real talk. Our team is the worst in the league. You know how when the Packers are doing, here's how it goes for the Lions. Since Aaron Rodgers has been in our division, since 2005, when the Detroit Lions are doing well, the Green Bay Packers are doing better. When the Detroit Lions are doing bad, they're doing bad. They always do better than us. All the time. Aaron Rodgers breaks his collarbone. We still can't gain any steam on the division. And I think that we don't have time. Time is in short supply. We're running out of time. When I think the season is lost is when we get more wins, more losses than we can wins. That's when I believe 9 losses is my official prediction of when the season is officially lost. So we can't afford to lose more than 3 more games. That's just, Lions got to go for anything to happen. At this rate, to be honest with you, I'm going to tell you what I would take. And I know I sound like I'm sipping on some Kool-Aid, but it's a Red Bull. The Lions, I think somebody could squeak in the playoffs. Real talk. Well, the NFC East is a big that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Right now, I can see somebody squeak in at 8 and 9, number 7. Because the Rams are not, they're the 7th seed and they're not playing that well. I could see that. But we have yet to see our full team. Josh Reynolds was limited. He had 1 catch. 1 catch. And I think that we haven't seen our full team, but at the same time, it may be too late when we actually do. Dave says, I watched your post-game show, was going to call in, but I think that kid ruined it. He did indeed. I'm going to start working on, I have a device that will let me, I think it'll let me kind of screen calls, but I have to figure out how to do it. Yep, the parity is insane in this league, and that's what's most frustrating. I agree. When every team is doing bad and we're doing the absolute worst, number 32 in the league. Like, you can't make this stuff up. And you know what? I felt bad for my 9-8 record prediction, but I don't feel that bad anymore. Nobody expected us to be lined up for the first overall pick 8 and heading into week 8. Nobody saw that coming. So for me to say 9 and 8 based on strength and schedule was perfectly reasonable. 100%. How you going to have the best offense in the league for 3 or 4 weeks in a row and you have 1 win and then you have the polar opposite defense? That you can't make this stuff up. Stephen King could write this. I still think that we do have to see our entire team. But the question is, when will that happen? And will it be too late? Because we're getting awfully close. Dern says, exactly, the NFC is bad this year, and all the bad teams last year have as many wins as the good teams last year, except, obviously, Detroit. Dern, you know what you sound like, bro? You sound like you officially scorned, man. Like, it sounds like there's no hope left for you. And I understand. Because I watched Locked On Lions. Shout out to Locked On Lions. Just found out yesterday that the creator, the guy who hires people, I think it's 2 guys, his last name is Locke. Because I watch Matt Derrick. And I remember Matt Derry when he was on the radio. And I was like, man, this guy is so it, I subscribed to the channel a couple weeks ago, and they weren't around for a long time. And I'm bringing that up because Matt Derry says what we all say. He said that if the Lions don't listen to this, and you tell me what y'all think. Now, I'm not ragging on Matt Derry. Love the show. But I want y'all to tell me what you think, all right? If I said this to you, if the Lions don't win one of the next 2 games, I'm thinking about leaving. He's thinking about leaving the show. What did you hear me say? I'll say it again. If the Detroit Lions don't win one of the next 2 games, I'm thinking about leaving the show. What's up, Brad Berry? What's going on? Zay says, my prediction was only 2 wins at this point, but still, that's a whole different story if that's the case. The Vikings game spiraled the season, bro. Hey, Zay, guess what? I'm only 1 game off my prediction. I'm only 1 game off my – you know what the game I'm off? The Seattle Seahawks game. I had us exactly where we are, +1 win. We were going to lose to Miami. We were going to lose to the Packers. And we were going to lose to the teams that we've lost to thus far except the Seattle Seahawks. Now, that was based on the Jets, the Giants, the Jaguars, all being bad teams. I think the Jaguars are starting to even out a bit, okay? Nobody's mentioning Trayvon Walker anymore, right? But the Giants and Jets, 2 surprising teams. Now it's the Packers. Like, what happened to them? You know what I mean? So I still think that win against a team we have no business beating is sitting, waiting on us, okay, somewhere down the line. And I also believe that the Lions got a couple more wins in them. So nobody answered. So when Matt Derry said, like I said, I'm not ragging on him. I thought this was what we all sound like. If the Lions, he's thinking about leaving Locked On, okay? He's been doing it for 7 years. Locked On was created in 2016, and they just moved to YouTube. And he said, if the Lions don't win one of the next 2 games, I'm thinking about leaving. What did you hear? I don't know. What I heard was, I ain't going nowhere. That's what I heard. We want to leave. But we can't. We cannot leave. Every time we try to leave, we get sucked back in. This is not about the team in particular, but I want to tell you a little bit about this, how this thing goes. Okay, we all know this, so I don't really have to tell you, but we all know. In the offseason, our excitement is at an all-time high. It is never more exciting than the offseason leading up to week 1. It is a gradual growth and excitement. I grew on Detroit Lions Syndicate 5,000 subscribers between January the 12th and kickoff. You know what I've grown since the Lions have taken the field? 1,000. 1,000. And you might say, well, Grid, you got like 6.5, 7 months to gain 5,000 subscribers. Why is that a thing? Because there was no football. I grew 5,000 subscribers based on hope and expectation. Exactly, Nick. Thinking about leaving, keyword thinking. And check this out. If, that's another one, the Lions don't win one of the next two games, so he's giving them a 1 in 50% chance. So he's cutting his chance. This is how you say, Lions better win both games or I'm out. That's how that's called bossing up. And again, I'm not ragging on Matt Derry. I just thought it was funny because you could see how frustrated he is. He feels like and he wasn't born and raised in Detroit, but he feels like he's had enough, like we all feel. But even though he feels like that and you can see the anger, he still was giving himself a 1 in 10 chance to leave Locked On, to walk away from Locked On. He ain't going nowhere. I truly don't believe he's leaving. Dern says the main problem on why Lions fans are so peed off is because we always think our team and players are better than what they really are. Well, Dern, we should. We should, but I think if you watch the team long enough, you know what you have, right? Nobody had this team winning 6 games last year. Well, I think I did. I said 6 and 11, right? We kind of know what we got, right? But what happens is we get out there And we sold out Ford Field against the Eagles. And I'm gonna tell you, darn. So let me kind of retort against that real quick. Because I believe it and it has some truth to it, but we also talk about this, right? Remember I said Detroit Lions Syndicate has not grown. It's grown less during the season while the product is on the field than during the offseason when it was nothing but hope. Jameson Williams, Aiden Hutchinson, Motor City Dan Campbell, Hard Knocks. We got the draft, right? So let me retort real quick. The first game of the season, okay, was sold out. The first time it's happened since my son has been in kindergarten. And he's in the 7th grade, right? We lose against the Philadelphia Eagles by 3, and the fan base we lit. You didn't see a head hanging down out of Ford Field. We hung with the Philadelphia Eagles. We come back at the crib. We beat the Washington Commanders. Crowd is going crazy. Strip sack fumble. Hutch does the Michael Jackson dance. Minnesota Vikings. What happened? On the road, we lose. We had the game. We lost. Man, that was on Dan. We should have won that game. Now, the Seattle Seahawks roll around, and everybody expects a dub. We're favored to win that game, right? It's only the second time in 2 years we've been favored to win a game. What happens? Geno Smith is Michael Vick reborn. We lose. They put up 45 on us. Next thing we know, we got the historically bad defense that the NFL has never seen. Now, the Lions have kind of tried to buckle down on that. The NFL had us on pace to give up 599 yards. ESPN projected 467, which is still league worst. And here we go, strolling in to Matt Patricia, New England, beautiful sunny day in Gillette Stadium, and we lay a goose egg. We have a bye week, we come out, and we can't even score a touchdown. So what's happening here? I don't think that we think the team is better than they are. I think it's the product that's on the field. Because if we're being real, we should have beat the Minnesota Vikings. We dominated that entire game. And I'm going to say a step further. We came back against the Eagles and we lost. We lost to the Seahawks. But you know what? We should have beat Dallas. Dallas should be a dub because they could not get in the end zone. And when they did at the end of the game, it was wide open, right? They got in there earlier. But that was off another miscue as usual. Sometimes I believe in Dan. Sometimes I don't. I'm like, what is he feeding me? What does he feed me? He's been saying all year that he thinks that this team can win. And then we go out there and they got the historically bad defense. But then what happens? They put Aiden Hutchinson in a 2-point stance. Deshaun Elliott, who are you? Where did you come from? Jeff Okudah, 15 tackles, flying all over the field, right? So you're like, man, you see potential. That's the thing. We see potential. David says you got subscribers because you spit facts and you love talking about your team, and I respect that. Well, I thank you, Dave. I appreciate that, but I think a lot of it, too, is that we can't leave, and we want to see better, and we honestly believe. I'm not talking about the Kool-Aid drinkers that bathe their water tank is full of blue Honolulu blue Kool-Aid. I'm talking about the realistic fan that's saying, okay, you know what? I've seen what this team has done in the offseason. What do we all say? Not a single move was made. Our defense in free agency, nothing changed. We signed Alexander Zaloni. He put a letter up saying he wasn't coming back. He was like, thank you, Detroit. It's been real. I'll never forget, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, we got Alexander Zaloni coming back. Like, what just happened here? And no moves are being made, nothing. Ooh, will we get Allen Robinson? Nope. That was a good thing. But what I'm saying is, it was quiet, man. Ooh, do you know what our biggest offseason move was? Re-signing Josh Reynolds. Yep, if we actually beat Minnesota, then it would feel different. But like you, I'm not picking the Lions to win until I see it. And that's respectable. I respect that because they they don't give you a reason to pick. It's not being negative or hate. They don't give you a reason to pick. How can you pick a team that is favored to win but doesn't show up? How can you pick a team that you don't know who's getting out there? You have Any Given Sunday, and then you got the Detroit Lions. You don't know what you're getting out of there. Lion says the turnovers by Goff fumbling the ball in Dallas in great field position to score a touchdown, no field goals. Now, see, we hook up on hopium. Hey, Nick, that's all we have, bro. You know what I honestly believe? And this is going to sound weird. I truly believe that we don't know what it feels like to win. Let me give you an illustration. What's up, Flying? When I started doing this in 2017, I was frustrated. We just got beat by the sorry Bengals at the time, and that officially ended our playoff hopes. This was in 2017, so this is the year earlier that season. We were coming off that loss to Seattle. And I made my content started growing, right? So I got on YouTube literally talking about the Lions because I was frustrated. I had nobody else to talk to about it. Nobody watches football that I know like me. So we come to the 2018 season. I started doing reaction videos, pre-recorded. And then I started doing post-game shows, pre-recorded. Directly after the game, record a 30-minute video similar to what I'm doing now. Just talking, no live stream, just talking to the camera, uploading. You know what jump-started this whole thing? Everybody remembers the Chase McBurger Daniel. When we lost to him on Thanksgiving Day in 2018, that is what jump-started what you see today. The reason I brought that up is because it was a rant. Do you know that when the Lions win, my content doesn't do as well? Because we don't know what it feels like to win. We are used to being miserable. I truly believe that. This team doesn't know what it feels like to win. And for everything I got to say about this man, Matthew Stafford was sick of being miserable. That's real. He was tired of being miserable, so he decided to leave. Lions Mania says, what was the year that Caldwell got fired, and what was their final record again? He got fired at the end of the 2017 season. Their record was 9-7, and they couldn't beat the good teams. And we have not won 7 games since he got fired. Check this out. I saw this today on another webpage. I think it was MLive. Do you know that the last time the Lions won a road game, can anybody tell me in the chat? The last time the Lions won a road game. This here is going to blow your mind. The last time the Detroit Lions won a road game was the year. Nope. It was after Matt Patricia got fired and Darrell Bevell took over, and we beat the Chicago Bears at their house. You remember how? Strip, sack, fumble. Romeo recovered. We got the go-ahead touchdown. That is the last time the Lions won a road game. Do you know when that was? We are 1 month out from it being 2 years since the Lions won a road game. What's up, Owen? I'm doing well, my friend. I hope you are too. There you go. The Jacksonville on the road in 2020. I want to say, Lions, that was before the Chicago game. When we beat the Chicago Bears, the Lions were 4-7. Matt Patricia got fired 2 days after Thanksgiving. We had a 10-day break. We came back on December 5th, and we won that game. And guess what else? Y'all ready? And let me say this, and why I think that the Lions, this is why I think we used to lose it. And I'm going to say something hot. This is going to be a hot tank. Hot tank because I hate the word tanking. How can you be okay with losing to win? I don't understand that. Let me run you down the history real quick. And this show went in a different direction. The Detroit Lions, okay, after Matt Patricia got fired, do you know we went on another multiple game, double-digit losing spree? You know how many losing sprees in double digits we've been in for the past 3 or 4 years? Multiple, 12, 13, 11. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. That's why I'm saying we don't know what it feels like to win, because how can a team who knows what it feels like to win start talking about tanking? Tanking boils my blood. You cannot say that you want your team to win when it's convenient for you. I was okay missing out on pick number 1 to have a win. And I will remain okay. I don't care if Bryce Young is right there and we miss him by 1 game. It is what it is. You cannot be okay with being a loser because you think that's going to help you win. What helps you win is drafting the correct way. At the position you are in, making the right decisions. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they picked first 2 years in a row, and they look like the same. You know what most Jacksonville Jaguars creators were saying? Man, we might get 5 wins. Tanking is for losers, and that's why I say that this fan base, we don't know what it feels like to win. Because when we win, no one cares. Go look up any Detroit Lions video. You can see the interest in this team is diving. It is diving. We are at our highest peak week 1 because all the Kool-Aid, all the hope, and even after the Philadelphia Eagles, this team was still high. We had no business hanging with them, let alone beating them. We lost by 3 points. Oh, this team is headed in the right direction. We beat the Washington Commanders. Doesn't seem like a dog age, like infinity, a different timeline that the Lions were 1-1. It seems like it was so long ago that the Lions were 1-1. We have to know what it feels like to win, and we don't. And I think we like it because we keep coming back. But that's what we do. That's what we do. We keep coming back, and we're going to keep coming back. How many of y'all check your phone? You say you're not going to check it. Man, I'm done with this. You throw your phone down. You still pilling it up. How many of y'all cut off the TV? We down by 27. You cut off the TV, and then you cut it back on. How many of y'all? You know what happened Sunday? I cut the game off, and it was on my browser because I wanted to see how this thing ended. We have to get comfortable winning. That has to happen. Katie says, I've tried to be okay with tanking before. I just can't. What's up? Owen says, Brian Flores, next Lions head coach, will be great for you. No, we're not doing that. Owen, the Lions don't like controversy, bro. They not, no, Mm-mm. That ain't what we do. We stay far away from that. The Lions losing to the Seattle Seahawks doesn't look so bad now, though, seeing they are 4-3 on the season. Exactly. Yeah, Lions says no controversy here, but yeah, you don't own the team, bro. We know what our owners do. Now, without getting political, because that's not what this show is about, but you know certain things they would never do. We're also cheap, Owen. We're not paying for Sean Payton. Sean Payton is still on the books for the New Orleans Saints. That's not happening. That's not happening. If Dan Campbell gets fired, and it depends on who's available, okay, then that could be something else. Now, I did see this, and I'll answer a couple of questions. What did you say? Losing to the Seattle. The first half against Washington was some of the best football I've ever seen this team play, and it's been all downhill from there. You know what? I don't think it's been downhill. You know what I think the downhill started? Did anybody think we was going to go into M&T Bank Stadium or U.S. Bank Stadium? I'm sorry, M&T is what the Ravens play, and actually dominate Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Zadarius Smith. We dominated that game. Yeah, whoever gets Sean Payton is going to pay compensation in some form of draft picks, money, or a combination of both. Your GM Greer, what would be the first 3 changes you would make to the Lions? Ooh, wee. That's tough, bro, because I'm not a GM. I'm not into the money aspect. I'm not into this is all fan, the eye test. I don't know who's the details of contracts and how that would work and stuff like that. But let me see. What would I do? I would talk to Dan Campbell. That's a good question, bro. I would talk to Dan Campbell and I would say, listen, the city loves you. We love you. We want to see you succeed. I have never seen a fan base galvanized behind a coach like I've seen you. Not even Jim Caldwell. We want you to win, but you got to do so. And if you can't do something in year 3, if progress is not made, and I'm not talking about owing 4 wins. We have to be respectable. We have to be worst case scenario, middle of the pack. I'm moving on. Okay? Yes, I'm giving him an ultimatum at this point. Dan Campbell gets an ultimatum. Right? Because at the end of the day, he will be judged off wins and losses. Okay? You got to do it. And that's sad because he's coaching literally in year 3 with his job on the line. So is he overthinking it? The second change I would make. That's a tough one. Really look at the books and see what kind of moves can we make in free agency. It's tough to do what we have. Like I said, the money plays a big part in this. Do we draft a quarterback in the first round with the first 2 picks, with one of them? What do we do with Jared Goff? Okay, and the third thing probably is see what we can do in free agency, because we need to do something. You see what happens when you draft 6 players and what an impact they can make. We need some people, and that's another thing too. Let's do this segment. Now, all I hear is you build through the draft, and I think that's true. Okay? I think you do. All right? But at the same time, can we not act like free agency doesn't matter? Case in point, the LA Rams, they drafted Jared Goff, but they traded for Matthew Stafford. Now that's a little different. He wasn't a free agent, but let's say he was. He didn't start on their team. That's the point. You might not build your team through free agency, but you plug some pieces. You plug some pieces. Let's not act like free agency does not matter at all. It is some crucial pieces picked up. Odell Beckham Jr. He wasn't a free agent. He was cut. But yes, he was a free agent because he cleared waivers and became a free agent. In the offseason, moves have to be made. You don't have to spend a bunch of money. Meaning you don't have to drain the bank. Just get a player here, player there. Okay? Get a piece, a veteran, somebody who can make a difference, can lead the team, defense, offense, whatever. Nick says build through the draft and fill holes through free agency. 100%. Steve-O says move on from Jared Goff, free up that cap space, draft a QB. Well, I saw something today that I really don't know what this team is going to do when it comes to Jared Goff. Okay, so let me do this. All right, because this right here is when I love this, y'all. I love this, and I'm not going to come at y'all. I'm not coming at you, okay, but this is my frustration. In the chat, we got 11 people. If you're a Lions fan, do you want the Lions to draft a quarterback with the first pick in the first round, meaning their first pick in the first round? Lions Mania says, bingo, we have to draft a QB if we're ultimately picking up in the top 5, either Stroud, Levis, or Richardson. I don't want Bryce Young. Use that second first-round pick on a defensive player. A bunch of rookies aren't coming in fixing the Lions. We need to bring in free agents to turn this team around fast. Okay? Katie says no. Lions says absolutely. Dern says yep. And David says no. Okay. So here's the thing that really kind of grinds my gears when it comes to the quarterback situation. And it got even worse. In February 13th of 2022, this is what grinds my gears about when I hear this. We've seen this movie before. And and this is not, I'm not trying to disrespect y'all, but we've seen this movie before, right? Now, I'm not saying it's not going to help. I'm not saying it is. What I'm saying is, how many times can you watch the same movie and expect a different outcome, right? We've seen this movie before. We've seen it with Joey Harrington. And why did it get worse February 13th, 2022? Because our quarterback, boo-boo baby, Matthew Stafford, everybody wants to pinch the cheeks and give him hugs. And this dude flees and wins a Super Bowl. He said, you ain't got to go home, but I got to get up out of here. And it grinds my gears, bro. Because Bryce Young, we about to make them Captain Save a team. Bryce Young is going to be Captain Save. Does anybody remember what happened to Joey Harrington? Does anybody remember that our quarterback of 12 years that everybody was ready to throw away? He can't win here. Everybody sounding like Adrian off of Rocky, and this dude leaves and gets a Super Bowl. His GM said, forget them picks. They sold out. They got what they wanted. And it grinds my gears, bro. I'm not saying that we don't need a quarterback. I'm not saying that the Lions shouldn't draft a quarterback. What I'm saying is that we need a team, and we don't have a team at all. Justin Fields was running for his life yesterday. The game before that, he got folded up. And again, we want to discard Jared Goff to draft a QB who's going to start game one. We've seen this movie before. Dern says, my counter to that is you've drafted in the top 10, 5 years in a row. We were all mad with the hindsight that we didn't pick Herbert. So are we going to do that again? That's a very good question, Dern. Very good question. If you think that the quarterback's coming out, here's my thing, okay? It's my counter to your counter to my initial point is Matthew Stafford. Been here 10 years at the time. We drafted a cornerback at number 3. That's something you don't do with the 3rd overall pick. You draft a defensive end. You drive even an offensive lineman. You don't take a cornerback at number 3. Now, if I'm picking at number 3, I'm taking Justin Herbert because Matthew Stafford was on year 10, and you knew the time was coming with either you walking away from him or him walking away from you. So for me, it's not about, well, we're picking up here and we got to take a quarterback because we should have taken Justin Herbert. It's we should have taken Justin Herbert over Jeff Okudah because Matthew Stafford was on year 10. Katie says, if anything, it feels like drafting a QB this year feels like just hitting the reset button. Lions Mania says you need a rookie QB part of long-term rebuild. It only makes sense. Okay, drafting a quarterback, okay, fine, right? Question, what happened to Joey Harrington? Tossed right in. Question, what happened to Matthew Stafford? Tossed right in. Who was our starting quarterback at the time? Was it Dante Culpepper or John Kitna? This guy came in 3 or 4 games in. What makes you think that the 2023 Detroit Lions are going to make this kid successful? That's what I want to know. That's the question I'm asking. Oh, Bryce Young is going to be throwing to Jamison Williams. I can't wait to see this. Drives me crazy. Ragging on the team is one thing, but ragging on them in the season is where I'm at. We got people on Twitter talking about the Bryce Young, Jamison Williams. It's going to be so good. We still in the season. If we pick in top 10 again, we got to get a rookie quarterback. We should have got a quarterback. Why didn't we pick one last year? Why didn't we take a 3rd round? Everybody, I saw on Twitter last night that we should have got Bailey Zappi. What in the world are we doing here? It's hard to rebuild when you're paying Goff $30 million. Bryce Young only makes the offense more dynamic, especially with J-Mo O-line weapons. He actually can create playoff structure. Here's the thing, though, y'all. Y'all act like that Brad Holmes didn't know what he was doing when he traded for Jared Goff. He knew what he was doing. He knew. Do you know that 2020, Jared Goff's dead cap for the LA Rams was $94 million. Jared Goff walks through the door. We're ready to get rid of him. Oh, man, we can get rid of Jared Goff, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what his dead cap was for this year? $41 million. Our potential out is next year, and we still take a $10 million cap hit, right? I don't mind. Rookie quarterback, fine. Develop the guy. Let the guy sit. Let him sit. Don't throw him into the Lions. Don't turn him into, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen The Gray, now's your time. Don't throw him into the greatest fight he'll ever know, into the fray with a big old alpha wolf named the NFL team. And watch this guy get assassinated. We've seen this. I get it. I understand. But let the guy sit. If it were me, if the Lions think that they have their defense, that they can win games, and they know that Jared Goff is not it, draft a quarterback. Draft a quarterback. Let him sit. Have him ready. Jared Goff needs to be yank him. Jared Goff goes down, put the rookie in. It's not a lot of teams, y'all, that have a rookie quarterback that just come in balling. Joe Burrow, he got assassinated his rookie year. He was doing well, though. But look what happened, right? O-line, build the team. Go to the Super Bowl, his rookie year. Yeah, but he didn't win it, though. And guess what happened? His O-line. At the end of the day, his O-line let him down, right? You got all the shiny new toys and no offensive line. The brother was sacked 9 times in a playoff game, but they still won, though. They did still win. You can put that on a lot of things. I can't. If we have Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, or whoever it is, and we don't have a team, that individual will fail. Just like Joey Harrington before him, and just like Matthew Stafford before him. I'll end the segment saying this. Matthew Stafford, 0 playoff wins in 3 appearances. Do you know what he did on his route to the Super Bowl? He won 3 playoff games and a Super Bowl in his first ever year with the LA Rams. So is Justin Fields officially a bust? Absolutely not. It's year 2. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Just got an email. Trying to see what this is. Real quick. Came from my school. Baker Mayfield, no. Gardner Minshew, free agents next year. Nope. It really depends on a QB, is whether you should draft him. Ohio State QB is busting NFL. Historically, yes, D'Amico. So is Justin Fields a bust? We have a good old line. We do. We absolutely do. But let me ask you a question, okay? But we have the supporting cast with the rookie to QB. Listen, y'all want a rookie QB. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. I have no problem with that. You probably will get what you asked for. Because Jared Goff, can they get out? Yes. Jared Goff can't choose to leave. They got to cut him. 12 rookie quarterbacks have led their team to playoffs. Rookie QBs don't win. Here's my thing. And this the thing. Like, I think, and look, I don't think anybody's right, anybody's wrong, okay? Y'all opinion is great, and I understand it. Justin Fields was making some plays yesterday that a non-mobile quarterback, a dual-threat quarterback cannot make. Jared Goff cannot make that. Matthew Stafford cannot make that. Russell Wilson can. Even 33-year-old Russell Wilson or whatever he is, he can, right? There are quarterbacks that can make those plays. And then there's the ones that can't. So I understand if you want that. You tired of seeing Matthew Stafford. You tired of seeing a poser. People call them statues, posers. But it's also some very good poser quarterbacks that have come and go in this league. If you want your team the Detroit Lions can to have a mobile quarterback, a dual threat quarterback, which means that a dual threat quarterback to me is a quarterback that you have to game plan running the football. They can't let the past dictate the future moves just because it wasn't the right move. Now doesn't before doesn't mean it's not the right move now. Okay, let me try that again. Hey Dave, so it's like a placement. Y'all remember the MEP test? It's like one of those. The MEP test. So we don't get results and all that stuff or whatever. It's just like to see where your kid is every year. They have them like a fall and a spring. Here's what I was going to go with that, all right? As we wrap up the show, and we'll end on this. Here's what I don't understand. Y'all need to pick a side, all right? Pick a side. Pick a side, okay? Because here's what I want to see. Keep Jared Goff. If you want to draft a quarterback, fine. You better have a defense. That means you need to make some moves in free agency. You need to make some solid moves in the draft. Keep Jared Goff, okay? If you take a rookie quarterback in the first round, you're going to pay him a bunch of money. Goff got 2 more years after this on his contract. Let him ride out. Let him mentor the young man, unless he turns to Ryan Tannehill that he doesn't want to. We haven't had that, y'all. Let him mentor a quarterback. And to Steve-O. Steve-O, I hear you, bro. I hear you. But as I've said, and I said this back when I was in the DSA, if the present is the past, is it still the past? If the present is the past, is it still the past? I think it's a small percentage of people that were hollering for a quarterback the moment Jared Goff came. Right? We need a quarterback. There was even a smaller percentage of people that were hollering for a quarterback at the start of this season. And then there's the people that don't know what they want. Jared Goff, 11 touchdowns and 2 INTs. Jared Goff is playing well. Few of y'all was, but we still want a quarterback. We still want to do a threat. Few of y'all was. We still want to do a threat. Okay, all right, cool. Right? Jared Goff is doing Jared Goff things. And like we said in yesterday's show, it's tough. If you want what you want, that's fine. I'm not here to change your mind. All I know is that rookie QB, dual threat, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it is about W's and how many we have. If that rookie quarterback can get us W's, I will take it all day long. If the rookie quarterback comes in and starts as a rookie, I will take it. Historically, we don't have the type of team that is set up for a rookie quarterback to have success. He is going to have to carry this offense, period. This team, period. Because the Detroit Lions defense is en route to have the worst defense in the league. Yes, Goff would be the mentor. Goff is average. He's going to have good games and bad games. He really is. You know what? Okay, I'll just say this, y'all. And you know, I'm starting to look at this, and we'll wrap it up. I'm starting to look at the end. Just look at this a little differently, right? Okay. Aaron Rodgers is everybody. Oh, we'll take Aaron Rodgers. He got 2 back-to-back MVPs and 1 Super Bowl win in 2 appearances. For all the greatness that Aaron Rodgers is, he's got, and look what is happening to him now. He lost Marquez Valdes-Scantling. He lost Devontae Adams. He lost Equanimeous St. Brown. He complaining about receivers. Everybody left, and look at him now. The bad man, Aaron Rodgers. 1 Super Bowl. He has 1 team accomplishment. 1 Super Bowl win. And he is a above average quarterback because you need a team. Patrick Mahomes had an offense that could carry almost any team in the NFL when Tyreek Hill was there. Juju Smith-Schuster playing like a Tyreek Hill. And he had a below average defense. And what happened when he had that defense? They lost. I think the offense is set up for a rookie QB to have success. We're not talking about the offense, Steve-O. I'm talking about the team. Because y'all want this rookie to come in. I'm guessing that you want a rookie QB because the talent is off the chain, right? You got to believe that the quarterback class was the worst of all time. The worst it's been in 20 years. This quarterback, you can't pass this stuff up. We want this. We want that. Let's give them all this. We'll worry about the team later, right? And Matt LaFleur looking fraudulent. Oh, yeah. Lions Mania says, sign a veteran on a one-year contract like Andy Dalton or something like that. Somebody who has played in the league for a long time and has played above average. Okay, Lions Mania, I'm trying to win, bro. I'm trying to win. That brother threw 2 pick sixes. I'm trying to win. Didn't even try to chase the dude down. I don't know. Do y'all want wins? Is that what we want? Or do we just want the new hotness coming out the draft? I want wins, bro. One Super Bowl more than us, I would be happy with making the playoffs at this point. Steve-O, you and me both. You and me both. But what I'm saying, though, is you're right about the one Super Bowl, but it's 3 other teams that can say that in the league. The point I'm trying to make is that for everything great Aaron Rodgers is, bunch of winnings. He had a 3-13, 3-13, and 3-14 season, got bounced out at the crib. Why? Because of the team. Everybody knew that their defense was not winning them games. It was Aaron Rodgers. And now Aaron Rodgers is looking like a washed-up old man who just in February, mind you, the week before the Super Bowl, what did he do? Double consecutive back-to-back MVPs. I guarantee you that most NFL players would trade in every single accomplishment to get that championship if they haven't had it. And LaDainian Tomlinson, 0, nothing. So many great players. Dan Marino, nothing. And we want to get this. Listen, if you want it, that's fine. But we need a complete team. We need a complete team, y'all. We need a team that is complete to compete. Trademark. Aaron Rodgers carried the team for years, and now his back is giving out fast. If it take a 2 or 3, don't do it. Sign him to a long-term contract. Let me see. Would y'all be okay? Let's just be hypothetical. Every time the show get good as we about to wrap up, man, I'm telling you, every time like the last half of the show come, it's always spicy. It get good and we got to cut it off. If the Detroit Lions they kept Jared Goff 23-24, but they drafted the guy you want, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Will Levis, whoever it is. Are you okay with that? I think that we do need a quarterback to back up someone. Whether the rookie, I don't think the rookie comes in and starts and makes a difference. I just don't think that. Goff ain't the answer. See that? You know that bothers me, Mania. That bothers me, bro. I can't. No, this ain't no disrespect to you, bro. I just can't. I can't with y'all, man. I can't with y'all. I just can't. Yes, Goff leads the league in turnovers. He's got 61. Shout out to the Derm. Since 2019. Matthew Stafford has, that I saw, like 43. 43. But when we hear he ain't the answer, when what is? That's the part that just grinds my gears, man. What is the answer? And we, of all people, Detroit Lions fans, who had to watch the Detroit Rams win the Super Bowl. And we talking about that this one person is not the answer. How many of y'all in the chat was saying Stafford is not the answer? And you had to eat your foot Super Bowl Sunday. I didn't want the man to win. I didn't want him to win because of what it would bring on the city. It had nothing to do with him. How many of y'all was saying Matthew Stafford is not the answer and had to stick your foot all the way down your throat February 13th? How many we going to get to say yes? I've always said, if you don't want to build around Matthew Stafford, trade him. Trade him. I don't understand how we can say Goff ain't the answer when lesser quarterbacks than Goff have won a Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer is a lesser quarterback than Jared Goff. Had no business winning a Super Bowl. None at all. Lions says Stafford was the answer. He just never going to win here because he left to add a complete roster. The closest is what? Okay, Lions Mania. Guess what you get, bro? You get a... We said that Goff ain't the answer. Well, then who is? Who is the answer? If Jared Goff is not, then who is? Katie says, I knew he was the answer. I just wanted to give him a team so I could stop disrespecting him. I was celebrating hard when he got his first ring. And that's okay. If you wanted to celebrate him, bro, I'm fine. I personally didn't. He created the whole LA Rams. Detroit Rams was a disgrace. They need to find them things and light them on fire. Zay says Bryce Young is the answer. Okay. Nick says Jesus. Young is going to be nice. I want him bad. He nice with Aiden and the boys on the D-line. Who are we talking about, D? Who are we talking about? Payne. Well, I don't know how old some of y'all are. Y'all fan base is something else. Happy, or no, like, pick a side. What do you mean, Jace, about Stafford? No, you don't got no split fan bases. You either happy for him or you're not. Me, I'm not happy for him. I'm not happy for him at all. I'm not happy for him at all because to me it was a blight on the city. It was a blight on the city, and that's why we keep getting dumped on. So that's for me. That it had nothing to do with Matthew Stafford. It was about what he represented because he left a franchise who is on route to the first pick, and we are talking about a quarterback that's going to turn this franchise around. So okay. Listen, Zay says Bryce Young is the answer. I want to tag that. Love you, Zay. I want to tag that because that means that he needs to win. Me, I'm not saying anybody's the answer. I'm saying the team is the answer because we've seen, and I'm guessing y'all would trade. Y'all okay with Aaron Rodgers, right? You want an Aaron Rodgers. You want a guy that get a bunch of single accolades in the whole season. I mean, and the team wins a Super Bowl, right? Like I said, if you like the guy and you want the guy, that's fine. I will say this. This is what I learned from last year, and we will 100% wrap this thing up. What I learned from last year is you don't know what. You have no idea what Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are going to do. You cannot say today that you know. You cannot say. He okey doke to everybody. Nobody knows what this man is going to do, and I think that's a good thing. I will say this, though. This is what I think they're going to do. I do think the Lions are en route to take a quarterback. Grade a QB on a rookie quarterback is how you free up money and build a good team. Listen, it's not about that. It's not about that, Steve, for me. The rookie quarterback thing and however you build the team, fine. That's not what it's about. It's about building the team. It's about bringing the quarterback in. And if you're saying he's the answer, so let me ask you a question. If Bryce Young is the answer, what does Bryce Young do 2023? Bryce Young comes in 2023. What does he do? Because I'm already assuming that y'all are okay with us winning year 3. And don't let Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes get fired now. So put it in the chat. What are your expectations with Bryce Young at quarterback next year? And trust me, I would eat all of these words to have a winning team. Young leads the Lions to 7-9. Okay, James. James, are you a fan of this team, bro? Young score points. Dan Campbell has to win 3 if he wants to keep his job. I disagree. He needs to win more than that. We on route to win 1 right now. Okay, Zay says offensive rookie of the year. Now, he will be throwing to Jameson Williams, possibly. Wow, so this guy going to come in. Nick says 20 touchdowns, 13 picks, and a 6-11 record. And that's okay for y'all. All right, what happens year 2? Let's do this. When does Bryce Young win us a playoff game? When does that happen? Lions Mania says, I want Will Levis. I love y'all, bro. I see y'all everywhere. I see y'all everywhere. If there's a Lions channel, I see you. Because I see it and I see you. I get Young if we trade for Payne before the deadline and use the rest of the picks to defense for it to be nice. James says year 2, so 2024. Come on, Zay. Come on, bro. No, that's not the question. The question is, what do you expect? You can't do that, man. You cannot do that. You want Bryce Young. What do you expect from year 2, period? Because Bryce Young is the answer. That's what you said. So you can't, there's none of that, bro. And you know this is love, man. All love. None of that. You can't be on the fence. You can't be wibble wop. Which one is it? Bryce Young is the answer. Quote you. So what do you expect year 2? There is nothing else, period. Zay says year 2 playoffs. Nope. Playoff win. Playoff win. The question is, when does Bryce Young get us a playoff win? There is no other answer. It's about Bryce Young and Bryce Long because Bryce Young is the answer. At least a wild card or divisional round, who knows? I'd rather pay Goff than draft Bryce Young. He too small. I think Bryce Young can come in and make the playoffs year 1. But we done made the playoffs, Steve, when we win in our playoff game. That's the question. Young goes to the playoffs and wins playoff game year 2. Jeez, y'all, woof. Young must be the best quarterback I've ever seen because Mac Jones, who was drafted 15, took his team to the playoffs year 1. He must be the greatest quarterback of all time because don't forget, y'all, our defense is historically bad up until 5 games. This is what I don't understand. Young is better than Jones. If you believe, my point was Jones was picked 15. If Jones comes out 1 or 2, of course he's better than Jones. There's no wrong answer. I'm teasing you about Bryce Young is the answer. I'm teasing you. We all frustrated. We want this team to win. Nick says Super Bowl year 1 in the Kool-Aid flow. Daniel Jones was picked 6 overall. And guess what? Daniel Jones is playing for a contract. They did not pick up his 5th-year option. And he said, I'm going to show y'all. Daniel Jones is playing pretty well. He was nominated for Offensive Error of the Week. You got to realize a lot of these old QBs in the NFC North are going to be replaceable. Brady might retire. Oh, yeah, I know all that, bro. And honestly, what I would want to see is if the Lions draft a quarterback, don't throw Jared Goff away. Keep him on the roster. Keep him on the roster. We have not had QB competition. Let him mentor the young dude or outperform him, right? Let him get the young man ready. I'm not opposed to drafting a quarterback, but we have to have a team. Eventually, the Lions are going to have to. We knew Stafford's time was coming. We knew that, right? So that's not a surprise. But let the guy develop. Let him learn the speed of the NFL. The rookie quarterback from last year, Trevor Lawrence, first pick, right? Trey Lance didn't even start. I'm like, he was not a difference maker in year 1. Zach Wilson, we already know what he's doing, right? Out of the 5 quarterbacks taken, Mac Jones was the only team to get to the playoffs. Okay, Lions, see, and this is what I understand, y'all. We all old, right? Some of us 20, some of us 30, some of us 40, and we ready to, okay, so we get C.J. Stroud, right? I'm sorry, Bryce Young, we cut Jared Goff, free up some cap space, right? I hear it's $20 million. Y'all was talking, oh my God, okay, I got to wrap this show up, bro, because my head is starting to boil. 3 years ago, I made a video about a reliable backup quarterback, right? I spent $12 million on a quarterback who can win me 3, 4, 5, 6 games. You know what I'm saying? At the time, this is 2019. And Jared Goff is on a roster, so y'all want to cut him, save some cap space, bring in Chase McBurger Daniels again, right? While he backs up C.J. Stroud. While he backs up Bryce Young, he gets hurt or he lays ducks, and then we bring in a rookie 3 games in, a la Matthew Stafford. I don't understand. What is the big deal with y'all letting Jared Goff mentor a quarterback? We traded for this dude. Brad Holmes knew what he was doing. And if he's smart, he will keep him on the roster and do something we have not seen ever, is have a backup a young rookie mentored. What do y'all think is going to happen? Are we all watching the same franchise? We need that $20 million to build this team. Okay. All right. So y'all, okay. All right. We need the 20 million. Listen, I don't know what they're going to do. And we just spent the last 45 minutes talking about a future that may not even come true. If they get Bryce Young, get the boy. Get the boy. All I know is I will pray for him like I prayed for Joey Harrington, like I prayed for all this other stuff, like I prayed for Matthew Stafford before he got his shoulder obliterated. I will hope that y'all are right. Said Reed last. Your last? I would, if they restructure for cheaper, he's making too much money. But Zay, that's not his fault. They traded for this dude. And he already restructured. Brad Holmes made this decision, but we acting like it's Jared Goff's fault. I don't think Goff can mentor anybody or should. Well, just because he been in the league for 7 years, Inkster, just because of that. Listen, we all want the same thing, and how we get there is, I think, where our opinions differ. I just don't see Bryce Young. I'm not saying that he is not going to be good. I'm not saying that he's going to be bad. I'm just saying the thing that really frustrates me is, okay, so we let me ask y'all a question. The $20 million that Jared Goff frees up, who do you think we're going to sign for that? For that $20 million? Marcus Williams broke the bank. Allen Robinson got a big payday. That might go to one playmaking free agent. So would y'all be mad if we cut Goff and get a playmaking safety? Tremaine Edmonds, a defensive player. Okay. All right. So this defensive player is he's gonna change the tide of the game, right? Yeah. All right, y'all. It's been real, and it's all cool, man. This is why we do what we do. This is why we do what we do, because, and y'all, wait, hold on, wait. I'm about to blow. Excuse me. I'm about to blow y'all up right now. Okay. So I need to bring the explosive sound effect. Brad Holmes is cheap. He is a cheap dude. He is like the father from Everybody Hates Chris. He will go get a bunch of guys for this price, then go get one for that. That's all I'm saying. Look at who your GM is. Alex Anzalone. DJ Chark. Deshaun Elliott. Oh my God. Jarrett Davis. Khalif Raymond. Josh Reynolds. Solid deal. Juju Hughes. Mike Hughes. Cheap. He already said he's not going to draft a linebacker high. I seriously doubt he makes a move in the next 6 days. And if you use the word tank in any of your sports commentary, you should be ashamed of yourself, because winners do not lose on purpose. And yes, I'm talking to you, Jason, and anybody else who says it. You cannot be happy with losing because you think you're going to win. How do you think losers stay losers? Jadis, I ain't giving up on nothing. If you forward this, the Lions aren't winners. What I'm saying is losing invokes more losing. Have you seen the Jacksonville Jaguars? Have you seen the other teams that quote-unquote tanked to win? Robert Saleh had them boys playing last year. You know how you build is you have 3 top 10 draft picks like the Miami Dolphins had a couple years ago, like the New York Jets. That's how you build a team. Tanking bothers me, bro, because tanking is for losers. You cannot be happy if your team you cannot get mad if they lose if you want them to lose on purpose. Yeah, Lions just barely, bro. They got like 2 wins. They just barely. And I want to say they're on a 3-game losing streak. Cleveland Browns drove a tank across America for years, didn't work. The Philadelphia Eagles were accused of tanking my man's last year. I just think that as fans, man, we're used to losing, so it's okay. So we throw words like tank out. For me, it just doesn't. We still have flowers in the book. Well, we'll see. We'll see, Zay. We'll see because they both come off next year, I think. So we'll see what he does. And I hope you're right and I'm wrong. I don't mind being a guy on YouTube that's wrong. If my team wins and I was wrong as the other side of the pillow, bro, I am fine with that. I am fine with that. I just feel like, you got to stick with your team. You got to rep, period. Build the right way. Have everlasting, long success. Tanking it, because when has tanking proved to be the answer? It just doesn't. It doesn't do that, right? We picked second, and we took. We had the second pick in every round, and look at us. We're picking. We're the Jacksonville Jaguars of the past 2 years. Nick, as of this moment or next year? Our Super Bowl is the draft. Yep, that's what I was just saying at the beginning of the show. Anyway, man, this is awesome, bro. I love this. I got to get to work chopping these segments up and recording my video from my other channel. You guys are awesome, man. Appreciate the support. It's all love. We all want the same thing. Our opinions differ. At the end of the day, right, we want our team to win. If it's Bryce Young, it's Bryce Young. Look, if it's Jared Goff, it's Jared Goff. But I tell you what, the entire NFL is judged on wins and losses. And you know who's going to pay the ultimate price? Dan Campbell. And no matter what we do, and see, Nick, that's why I want to keep Jared Goff. Because Jared Goff can mentor a quarterback. Whether he mentors, he can start. The quarterback can be on his behind, right? We let this stuff open up $100 million. Then we up in the top 5, top 10 in draft capital or cap space. At that time, Jared Goff is not on this roster anymore. In 2024, he's on his last year. I'm sorry. 2023. Yeah, he'll be on his last year. That'll be rookie quarterback's 3rd year, right? And now he takes over. And now, as I'm approaching my 50s, we dominating the league, right? That's what I would like to see. That's what I would like to see. I am never okay with losing, ever. But if you told me that the Lions would dominate for the next 10 years, if they build the right way over the next 2, I would take it. But, man, appreciate y'all, bro. Appreciate y'all. I'm never trying to be disrespectful. I'm just passionate. We all want the same thing. Sometimes I just think we see things differently. Yeah. Hey, Zay, exactly, bro. I just watched The Secret Base today. It came out today, and it was talking about Patrick Mahomes, how the Chiefs still had Alex Smith. And Alex Smith wind up losing his job, and they just finally decided, you know what? Let's put this guy in. I forgot what year it was in, but that's exactly what I'm talking about, 100%. So no disrespect, y'all. I love y'all, all of y'all. We all want the same thing. We hang out, have a beer. It's never meant to be disrespectful. We see different avenues. I feel like the history of this team does matter. I feel like what they do does matter. I don't want to see Joey Harrington 2.0. I don't want to see Matthew Stafford ridiculed for 12 years. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see quarterback, number 3 and everybody saying he went to the Detroit Lions. Do you know Tua's family did not want him to come here? I don't know if that was because of the culture or Matt Patricia. But Tua's family said that he was going to pull like a Eli Manning. An Eli Manning if the Detroit Lions drafted him. Could have been because of Matt Patricia. Could have been because of the city. And that, my fellow fans, is what I'm trying to get rid of. And you know what? If Bryce Young is that guy, then he's that guy. But I appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all next stream. Have a great day, and it's all love.